Hello, everyone. I am your host of the Verge podcast, Virgil Edwards. As always, the goal of this show is to keep you from the brink of ignorance and on the verge of intelligence when it comes to, you guessed it, American politics and how it affects us all. Today's episode is about how the media, after its crusade to slander and libel Donald Trump into losing the election to Hillary Clinton, which they failed to do, they have the nerve to try to project themselves as victims after being called out during a press conference by the president-elect as fake news. Now, as you all know, fake news is a concept that was brought to the forefront right after the elections to accuse conservative websites that are not considered mainstream media as being fake news, as being responsible for why so many felt so negatively about Hillary Clinton. Of course, we all know the real fake news is the likes of CNN, Fox News, MSNBC. They are the masters of fake news. Katie Couric, all of them. Just complete dumpster fires when it comes to journalistic integrity. And just to go ahead and get it out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and play for you the interaction between the president-elect and CNN's Acosta.
Attacking our news organization. Can you give us a chance? You are attacking our news organization. Can you give us a chance to ask a question, sir?
Go ahead.
Sir, can you state, Mr. President-elect,
go ahead.
Can you state categorically,
asking a question.
Mr. President-elect, can you give us a question? You're attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude.
Can you give us a question?
I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir,
go ahead.
Can you state categorically that nobody... No, Mr. President-elect, that's not appropriate.
President Obama...
Now, what brought that particular exchange on is BuzzFeed ran with this supposed intel report from a British intelligence person, supposedly, that supposedly had a report of Trump's dealings with Vladimir Putin and Russia. And also about Trump's supposed sexual fetishes with golden showers. I'm not going to go into that because that's quite frankly not even necessary here, but to put it bluntly, BuzzFeed put it out. CNN ran with it. And the president-elect called him out on it when CNN wanted to get a question answered. But yet they're portraying themselves as a victim. Hollywood troll Patton Oswalt said that press conference was horrible and that people should hoard their food or some other fear-mongering nonsense like that. You know, I'm sorry, but you put out that sort of unsubstantiated, unverified information about someone, you don't get to play the victim. Okay, you don't get to go on TV and portray yourself as someone that got attacked. No, you get exactly what you got from the president-elect, and that is to be called a terrible news organization and fake news. That is precisely what CNN is. You know, I just can't say it enough how it is imperative that we remain vigilant in the next 7 days leading up to the inauguration of Donald Trump as president. Because the media will continuously try to fearmonger you, and they will try to convince you that the world is ending. There will be violence. Liberals will commit acts of violence to try to distract you. I mean, Rosie O'Donnell's already threatening, not really threatening, but wanting our government, wanting President Obama to institute martial law so that Donald Trump can't take office. All other legal maneuvers by the Democratic Party have failed. And it failed when Vice President Joe Biden said these words, "It is over." When the Democratic Party tried to challenge the validity of the electors of the Electoral College, they failed. That was their very last legal maneuver, and it failed. But yet, even in the last days of President Obama's term, 8 years in office, he's still trying to make things worse. You know, he continues to beat the drum that, oh, Russia hacked the elections, even after saying in October of last year that our elections could not be hacked. So which is it? We were hacked, or they can't be hacked. It can't be both. And yet, you got GOP warmongers like Senators John McCain and Lindsey Graham agreeing with President Obama that we were attacked, cyber hacked by Russia, and that's what influenced the election. I mean, really? It couldn't have been that Hillary Clinton was just that bad of a candidate? I mean, I'm sorry, but in 7 days, 1 week time, Donald J. Trump will become the 45th President of the United States of America. I am sure that there will be plenty to criticize about his actions and performance as president. But to encourage violence, to encourage martial law, to go on these slanderous, libelous rants and raves, to try to keep him from taking office, it's sad. It's un-American as it gets. You know, enough about that. I also want to talk about how the House and Senate, the Republican-controlled and led House and Senate, are full of fake conservatives. These are conservatives. They're fake. They don't really want to balance the budget. They don't even want to lower the deficit. They are voting for what the Senate passed as a so-called budget that adds $9.7 trillion, yes, trillion dollars to our debt in the next 10 years. And also supposedly repeals Obamacare. But you know what? It is completely unnecessary. Senator Rand Paul has put forth a plan that would balance the budget, not add $9.7 trillion, and repeal and replace Obamacare. But how many voted for that? 14 in the U.S. Senate. I mean, where are we, the people, going to finally take stock and take notice in what votes our elected officials make and do something about it? even the likes of Senator Mike Lee and Senator Ted Cruz, who, say, oh, I'm a conservative, I'm a physical conservative. No, you're not. You wouldn't have voted against Rand Paul's bill, and you would not have voted for this monstrosity if you were. Sorry, but the same thing in the U.S. House. It's Republican controlled, but yet they seem just as eager to pass this $9.7 trillion in new debt as the Senate was. Of course, I can always rely on Representatives Justin Amash and Thomas Massie of Kentucky, Amash of Michigan, to always be the ones to say, hey, this is ridiculous. I'm not voting for this bill because of our debt problem. Make no mistake, we have a debt problem. It's at $20 trillion. I think people have such an issue with that because that's a massive number that they can't even fathom. People, tend to look at $10,000 of debt, of personal debt, as a massive problem. But they can't fathom 20 trillion, much less going on 30 trillion of debt. That's just too massive of a concept for them. So they tend not to associate that sort of number as a problem for them. It's very much a problem for them. It's a problem for us all. And it's why I am going to explore my options to run for office. My options is in 2018, I can challenge my congressman in the Kentucky 6th District, Andy Barr. Or I can wait until 2020 and challenge Senator Mitch McConnell for a U.S. Senate seat in Kentucky. I'm exploring my options. I know I'll have to raise a lot of money. I'll have to see if people are open to that idea. And of course, I will keep you informed through this podcast, through my tweets, which you can follow me on Twitter at _Verge_. You can also follow me on my blog, theirvinpatriot.blogspot.com. It can't be said enough that the price of freedom and liberty is eternal vigilance. If you want it, that's the price. It's a price I'm willing to pay. Because our futures are literally at stake. I want a bright, prosperous future. Not posh comfort now. Not kicking the can down the road right now. Until next time, please share this with your friends and family on social media. And I will see you next time